Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel where we review anything and everything. Today we're getting into another Hot Wheels unboxing. This is two different colorways of the same model. This is the Porsche 911 GT3. So you can see from this box here, those beads both came out at the same time, but you could tell from this box here that it says new for 2022. So this old new stock. So this one came out at the same time as well. I mentioned in a past video, I used to not be a big fan of Porsche. I'm not gonna say I'm a big fan of the brand in general, but of their cars, my favorite is the Porsche 911 GT3, which is here, the GT2. And it took me a while to know the differences between the two. And since that time, I forgot because I kind of fell out of cars a little bit. Yeah, so those, and then sometime you have the GT3 RS. But I believe, if I have it right, I'm not sure now. I'm having brain farts. These ones, which pretty much all have a similar body style and whatnot, they just have little different aspects under the hoods, are my favorite. All of the Porsches is not really as much my thing. The GT, is it the GTR4? I think. Is a more affordable one. Kind of grew on me a little bit now from seeing it, but that was more of a newer model relative to, Porsches of yesteryears, like say in the 90s and whatnot. So yeah, I do like these design languages. So the blue model just says factory fresh. And even though the black model is factory fresh as well from the factory fresh line, they both had the same number, 10 out of 10. They're different colorways. This one actually gives you information. So we're just gonna read through that really quick. Born in 2021, designers obviously Porsche. This 992 GT3 is one of the most visceral in the 911 line. A top mounted rear wing adds downforce and enhances the vehicle's race look. From the front suspension setup to the track focused tire options, this car is more than ready for race day. So a lot going on with it. Pretty much made for the track. It's like a purist car, so that's why a lot of people really are a fan of it. That's why I'm a fan of it. There are other versions of things like a 911 turbo and turbo something, and those ones are turbocharged and they still look good. But this was always the one where it had, is more the purest, at least from my memory of my understanding of it, was the purest feel of the car. So those were more made for, the turbos were more made for being the best time on the track. And the GT3 was more of like, we're gonna give you manual control. If I have this correct, because I might sometimes get this mixed up with the GT2, but I believe it's the GT3 is the one where it's manual control. It's not turbocharged. It's not about being the best time of the track. It's about you enjoying it the most. At least that was my understanding that I remember when I did research a while back. So I'm just gonna cut through into this here. I remember enjoying this one so much that I bought one for my kids as well, but I never got around to opening this one. But since I had that one in hand, I had the enjoyment to look at that one at the time. But since that time, that one is lost somewhere in the house and I have no clue where it is. And so here we go with these. Let me try to move these out of the way. Let's get into this here. There we go. Blow some of that dust off. The color on that one is looking really nice. And then let's jump into this one here, the blue. Crack this open. All right. Gotta be careful not to scratch it, because sometimes when you try to open it with a knife on the back of the box, you just want to make sure you don't. And this looks nice. I remember, if I'm not mistaken, I think I first got the black and then I was like, I got to get the blue, or was it the other way around? I don't remember, but let's zoom in on this to get extra in the detail. Look at that. I like the wheels. They had to give it some kind of contrast against the black, but on the other one, the blue one, they're gonna have black wheels. I like that detail too. That looks really nice. Just adjusting my lights here a little bit. GT3 Porsche on there. You got the light, the decals. I know it's a little bit shiny right now because of the way the lights are, but it's because of this color kind of really, it's matte, but when you have just black, I think the light's shining off even more. When we see the blue, you'll see that it's probably not gonna have that same glare against it because black doesn't show the detail as much. So then, yeah, at the bottom here, you got the two tailpipes, exhaust. It looks really nice. This matte color looks really nice. So the top looks a little shiny and the rest of the body here looks matte, more matte. But I think that looks really nice. And then here you can see, yeah, I think the detail appears a little bit more on here, not because of the car itself, but just the lighting. Yeah, I think you can see this a little better in my opinion. I don't know, maybe not. But this one's got a shiny coat. The black wheels, all black wheels, which works fine because then you got this. All right, so now that makes sense why this is shiny on the top versus the rest being matte, because this would be a separate paint anyway. So there we go. So here you can see those two vents in the front too. You can't really see them as much here. You can see the indentation for them. You don't have the little color markings. And the lights, smoke color is like that. So really nice. I really like this one here. I have a couple of Porsches in the collection, not a lot, of similar models of this. GT3, different variants of the GT3 or a GT2. But I'm definitely gonna have to jump back into that space and do the research on the differences because I forgot already, because between the 911 Turbo, if they still make it, I don't know where the evolution is now with Porsche. I haven't jumped into that scene in a little bit, but between the between the 911 Turbo, which I know that one's turbo track ready. It's got whatever. I think there's a Turbo S, which steps it up a notch. The GT2 and the GT3, and I gotta know the differences between those. Again, I have to do that research, but nonetheless, of the Porsche cars, these are the ones that I like. So anyway, you guys, as always, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.